I spent €1,000 to attend a one-day mastermind yesterday, and in this video I'm going to share one of the biggest insights that I took away from that day. So if you stick around for the next 15 or 20 minutes, you're going to get that insight. You don't have to spend the €1,000 or book 3 new flights or lose a flight or book 2 nights in a hotel. I'm actually sitting in Budapest right now. I was planning to record this video outside, but it's 32 degrees and I'm wearing all black pants, black t-shirt, because I just came from Manchester. So unfortunately, it's not a good outfit for me to be out in the heat. I didn't expect it to be this hot. Basically, if you stick around for the next 15 or 20 minutes, I'm going to share everything that is going on in my brain around the biggest insight. I took a lot of insights from that day and I will share them all. So if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, and if you find this helpful, you'll be able to basically catch up on those as well. But the big one that I took away is really around ideas. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is personal branding and messaging and content that makes you stand out from the crowd. So the coaches and the creators that I work with, I get them to put a lot of thought and a lot of work into these areas. Now, these are difficult areas to get clear on, because in order for you to really bring across an authentic personal brand, in order for you to really stand out, in order for you to really bring something that's different and unique and that connects with people, it's not something that you create per se. It's more so something that you share, right? So it's like the external part of you. It's the reflection of what's going on in your personal world. It's the reflection of your business, the reflection of your world, the reflection of your values, the reflection of the mission that you're on. And these are all big questions. It's almost like we're trying to suss out the meaning of our life, right, in order to go and build a really, really great personal brand that connects, that sells, that allows us to launch a really successful business off the back of that. And for me, one of these ideas that just won't go away is this idea of agency. Now, when I look back at my life, I think about the role that agency has played in my life. And it took me a while to arrive here, but I realized that the big thing that I am bringing to the world and that I'm bringing into my own world is this concept of agency. And agency is a term that people throw around a lot without really defining what it means. Now, I'm sure there's lots of definitions, but for me, agency is living your life with ownership, with autonomy, with freedom of choice, with responsibility, and also with intentionality. And I think that's the end goal. I know for me, the money, the free time, the online business that allows me to travel around the world, it really is all to let me be agentic over my life. The real goal is agency. The real goal is to choose how I spend my time. The real goal is to, be here in Budapest on a random Saturday recording a video. I just had some nice food, some nice coffee. I sat down, I did some writing in my diary. And a week ago I was in Ireland. 24 hours ago I was in Manchester. While I was here, I just booked 4 new flights for my girlfriend and I to go to the seaside in 2 weeks' time. This is a lifestyle that would not be possible if I was working in a gym or I was working in a bar, both of which I've done, by the way. 7 years ago, I was working in a gym. 10 years ago, I was working in a bar. That was my reality. I had to ask for time off. I had to trade my most valuable asset or assets, my time and attention. And then I would have to ask for time off to go on holidays, and I would not be well paid for the time and the attention that I gave. Whereas now my life is very, very different. I'm in control of my time. I'm in control of my attention. I still, of course, give people time and give people attention, but I am responsible for how much of my time and attention I give to people. I have a choice around what I charge and how I deliver my services and how I help people. So I have agency over my life. And this is really the thing that I am bringing to my clients. This is the thing that's going to make me stand out and be different, because it's true. It's what I actually believe, and it's what I'm actually striving towards. And under agency, this ability to have choice and this ability to create your own freedom and create your own structure and be the one who is responsible. Lots of other things fall under there. Mastery is one thing that comes up a lot for me. Because I have agency over my schedule and I'm a high agency individual, meaning I make my own choices and I decide the direction of my life, I don't get dragged along, I can commit to mastery in areas. And there's a couple of areas that I am committed to mastery. This is one of them, this online business. And creating and sharing value is something that I'm committed to mastery in. I'm also committed to mastery in music, which is something that for years and years I played music. I played traditional Irish music, I played the concert flute. I got to a pretty decent level maybe 10 years ago. And then I became an adult. I was in my 20s, I was working, I had bills to pay, I was out partying too much, I was getting in trouble doing all this silly stuff. And I kind of let that slide a little bit, and it took a back seat because I just didn't have the time, and there was more important things. There was bills to be paid, rent to be paid, there was just other stuff happening, and I didn't have the time in my life to carve out an hour or 2 hours to play music, which was kind of sad as well, because it was a big passion of mine, and it was also very important for my family. And I wasn't doing it for my family, but I used to love, my family are into music, so I used to love to play music with my family. And again, it was something I hadn't done in years. But over the last 6 months, I've really taken back that into my life and been like, no, this is something that I value. It's something that I want to pass on to my family in the future. It's something that I want to be able to share with my family and my friends. And I've just carved out time in my life to work on this and to pursue mastery in this. Now it's a 10-year goal, as is this, as is everything I'm working on these days. My relationship as well, again, 10-year goal, mastery. I don't know if you can ever master a relationship, but I want to show up at my best. I want to be able to invest time into that. I want to be able to invest money into that if I need to invest money to nice experiences or to improving my skills or just improving my own self-development to make that, to make me essentially an easier person to be around and to communicate with and everything else as well. But this concept of agency in your work and in your scheduling and in your time allows you to have agency over other areas of life, because I didn't have that level of agency when I was working in a bar, for example. I was just hustling through my days, trying to get, my paycheck at the end of the week. And even when I had a poor model, when I was in online coaching, but I didn't have the right model, I was making good money, making 6 figures. I had 50 online clients, but I didn't really have true agency because I was giving all my time and attention to people. I didn't know there was a better way, and I didn't really know how to earn more money in less time doing work that I loved. And that is where I have arrived at now. That's what I do for coaches and creators. And if you need help with that, or if that sounds like something that you want and you don't know how to get, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, same handle, or drop a comment here and I'll get back to you, because I absolutely love this stuff. It's a bit of a broad and vague video, by the way, but if you're wondering who is this guy to tell me this, I have done this for the last 7 years, and I've had success, but I've also learned a lot of lessons and made a lot of mistakes along the way as well. And I think the real goal is agency. The real thing that we should strive for in life is agency. Now, I don't mean to be a doomer and a doomsday kind of guy, but the reality is we are also just going into a time of huge technological change, and a lot of people are going to be displaced. And this is not just people in office jobs who are no longer needed. This is also coaches and creators. This is the generic coaches and creators, the coaches and creators who don't have a strong differentiating message, who don't have unique ideas, who don't actually have passion and excitement for what they're doing, who don't have true agency over their time and their schedule, because AI is going to come in and effectively rip people to shreds. Anyone who is not very good at what they do is going to get just chucked out of the marketplace, full stop, probably in the next couple of years. And it's very hard to compete with somebody who likes what they do. And if you don't have agency over what you do, and you're very tied to a schedule that you don't like, and you're tied to earning money in a specific way. You can't kind of choose how you earn, you can't choose how your pricing works, you can't choose how your delivery works. If you're just stuck with tons and tons of one-to-one clients, even if you are making relatively good money, just remember that you won't be able to sustain that long term and keep up with the rate of technological change, because the people who thrive are going to be the people who are adaptable. And we can really only be adaptable by learning the skills and having time to invest into those skills and continuing to be high agency individuals. So system skills, strategies are really the things that allow us to have agency. But on the flip side, we can't create agency over our life without having some free time to work on it, right? If we just work really, really hard for somebody else and we don't have any free time, or we work really, really hard but we spend all of our time in delivery working one-to-one with clients, it's very hard for us to then carve out space for agency, because we're not building systems, we're not changing our outlook on things, and that agency is going to evade us. So it's almost like a chicken and the egg thing, where we need to be high agency individuals to create the opportunity for more agency. We need to be able to decide, I'm going to free up my schedule, I'm going to deliver in a different way, and that allows me then to put that time towards learning and becoming more high agency. And I think there's going to be a huge, huge shift where we see the people who succeed in the coming months and years are not going to be the people who are doing really well today. They're going to be the people who are the highest agency, the people who are able to adapt, who are looking for new ways of doing things. At this mastermind yesterday, there was some really interesting people there, but what was interesting as well was that there were people who are very high agency individuals, but who have been kind of comfortable in where they're at. And over the last couple of years, they've seen that the things that used to work and the things that got them to 15, 20K a month no longer work. And they are now having to actually go and look at different ways of marketing, different ways of selling, different ways of delivering, because they realize that on this trajectory, the stuff that worked 2 years ago doesn't work. The stuff that works today may not work in 2 years, and very likely won't work in, maybe even 6 months with the rate of change. So agency is the thing that we are looking for. If we want to build the best life possible, but also actually have the best chance of surviving and thriving, because the reality is no one knows what's going to happen with AI and the technology that's out there now, and how it's evolving and updating and progressing every single day, every single minute. We can't keep up with that. The best thing that we can do is be high agency and be adaptable and be able to actually go and man that technology instead of getting left behind. So I really think agency is the thing that you should be thinking about. You should be looking at your day, you should be looking at your week and asking, how much autonomy do you have? How much freedom through your structure do you have? How much free time do you have to actually dedicate to becoming higher agency, to learning new skills, to implementing new systems, to learning new strategies? And if you're not actively doing that, you are going to get left behind. And if you don't have the time to do it, you need to make the time to do that now, because I was in a room of high performers yesterday, and some of them are, kind of finding it difficult at the moment. And these are people who are in the game for 5, 6, 7 longer years, right? And if they're finding it difficult and they're needing to adapt and change things that previously got them to 15 or 20K a month, if what you're doing right now is not working, just doing more of it is not going to make things better. And just doing more volume and just trying harder is not going to make things better. You have to have agency and ownership over your schedule. And you have to focus on becoming a high agency individual. That is the goal. The goal is not to sign another 3 clients this week by hustling through DMs or getting a viral reel that gets you 5 new leads. The goal is to become a high agency individual who can potentially even completely pivot out of this coaching thing, by the way, because it's not just, some coaches are going to do well and some coaches won't. Maybe coaching won't even exist in 10 years. So on a long-term time frame, we really want to be looking at agency as the goal. And the true expression of agency in my life, at least, there's various forms of agency. I'm sure you could say that getting into shape is a form of agency because you're taking responsibility and control and you're changing how you look and how you feel. But entrepreneurship and business building and actually taking this challenge on of not being dependent on people, of being a sovereign individual, that is like the highest agency building task you can possibly do. So a lot of you are probably already business owners and you're already taking on the task that gives you the opportunity to build the most agency possible. But there's also a shrinking window of time where if you do not have the agency over time and schedule and how you earn and how you price and how you deliver, if you are not completely in control of those things, the people who are very quickly going to take off and get ahead of you. So that is what I would encourage you to do. Become a high agency individual, and it is going to stand you in good stead in the coming years.